What's up, AtoZSports live on a Monday, another losing Monday. The Titans are 1-9 as we get closer and closer to Thanksgiving. It continues to feel like it gets worse. Cam Ward leads a 95-yard drive to tie the football game, but leaves too much on the time on the clock, and the Texans kick that field goal as time expires. And here we are, Texans 16, Titans 13, and we've got some controversy, a little bit of a spat in the post-game press conference with interim coach Mike McCoy versus Titans media members. I don't know if it was I'll have to ask the chat which was spicier, Mike McCoy versus Titans media or me versus Easton in the post-game show yesterday. If anybody missed that, you should definitely check that out as well. And people asking where Zach is at. Zach is traveling this morning for a conference for business. And so he will be back next Monday. So, people, you can hate on Zach all you want for not making his 1 week appearance. But, when he's got a conference on the schedule that he's got to travel for, that's how that works. But, JT, you and I are going to break down all of this today and going to have a good show here. So, we'll talk about J.C. Latham and his false starts, Jeffrey Simmons being big mad at the overall situation. So, JT, what's up? You were in Nissan Stadium yesterday, so let's get this thing off and rolling.
Yeah, what's up, Austin? That was one of the Titans games of all time, I think. And yes, I'm here this morning doing the unenviable task of trying to replace Zach on a Monday morning, which apparently so far is already not going well, but I will do my best, much like Cam Ward is in the unenviable position that he continues to get put in on a week-to-week basis for this Tennessee Titans team. I was there at Nissan Stadium yesterday for whatever that game was, and it was a game of all time, like I said, but it's good to see all of you guys here in the chat. Good morning. Excited to get this off and rolling, but before we do that, need a couple of things from you guys. First and foremost, like the show, lock in, like the show on this Monday morning. If you're on YouTube and you're down there hitting the like button, takes 2 seconds, by the way. Might as well also make sure that you are subscribed to the AtoZSports YouTube channel so you never miss any of the content we are bringing you here at AtoZSports. If you're on Facebook, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you've also liked the page, and then hit that share button in the bottom right corner. Share the show with a friend who wants to vent about how cowardly Mike McCoy was once again in this game, how uncomplimentary this team continues to be, and how the Titans are still facing themselves. They play two opponents every single week, it seems like. They play the Texans yesterday, and then they also continue to play themselves. So, excited to get going. And with that, Austin, let's kick it off.
Let's get it going officially. Welcome to AtoZSports here live on a Monday. I'm Austin Stanley. He is JT Runke. We are Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, going live weekday mornings at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline. Hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more great Titans content. Also, follow us on Google as we continue to grow. As a company, Google continues to change overall, and they've updated this new feature where you can follow outlets on Google, and that will help us show up as a preferred source for anytime you're looking on Google for Titans content. So we'd appreciate that if you follow us on Google. Do have to thank our sponsors because they make it happen for us, and they help out all of you, like Wilson County Hyundai. Make them a part of your new car buying process. See them in Levin or online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Barton Drury Insurance Group, customized solutions for all of your insurance needs. They're local and online at bartondrury.com. Botero Carts, life is short. Buy a golf cart. Right there, 2 locations for you in Gallatin and Columbia. And Window Nation, through the end of the month of November, 50% off all window styles. And you could get up to 5 years of 0% interest on that financing. So right there. But JT, you were at Nissan Stadium yesterday. You were taking in all the sights. It was a gorgeous day, right? So
yes,
for everybody who won tickets to the Nashville Water Taxi, and for everybody who just used the Nashville Water Taxi for their means of transportation to and from Nissan Stadium yesterday, props on you for having a good day, because that's about as good as we're going to get for watching this Titans team. But JT, your thoughts on that game? 16-13, the Texans win. The Titans are now 1-9. How do you feel about the overall performance before we dive into some deeper context?
Not great. I do not feel great about that performance yesterday. Like I said to begin the show, as we'll hear from Jeffrey Simmons later, the Titans continue to not be able to beat themselves. There is no semblance of complimentary football being played at Nissan Stadium on a week-to-week basis. And you got a version of the Houston Texans yesterday that, quite frankly, was incredibly beatable. And for what it's worth, I think when you're leading basically for a good majority of that game and then things start to fall off, because yet again, you need to capitalize on the opportunities that you do have when you're a team like the Titans right now. And so I went into that game, and after watching this team for 2.5 quarters or so, I kind of pronounced them dead. This was a team that there was a lot of lifeless football being played. When the defense looked good, the offense continued to, Cam Ward's looked flat. He looked not like the normal Cam Ward that we've seen flashes of in the past couple of weeks. And when the offense finally shows up, the defense plays soft and they lose that edge that they kind of had the entire game. If I had a one word or a one phrase for this game, I would kind of go with, I would go with rigor mortis, because this team kind of was dead the entire time until that last second where the body jolts and Cam Ward has a crazy drive because he finally understands that he can run the ball and evade the pressure in the pocket by turning it into a plus yardage situation. He runs downfield like that. He is the guy who throws that, finally takes a shot downfield and puts a well-placed ball to Chig to kind of breathe life. But it was too little too late, because that comes in the fourth quarter when it should have come way earlier in this game. And of course, after that, the body goes back to being dead, because when you finally do have the lead with about 1.5 minutes left, you get the Texans into yet another situation where is very familiar to the Titans this year, 3rd and 16. I watched Darrell Baker play on Nico Collins, which, by the way, it's 3rd and 16. You've played this team already once this year in week 4. Who did they throw the ball to on 3rd and 23? Nico Collins. Where is this ball going? Nico Collins. I watched Darrell Baker play about 3 or 4 yards off the line of scrimmage on Nico Collins yesterday. As they snap the ball, Darrell Baker drops back another 2 or 3 yards into an even softer type of coverage. Nico Collins blows right by him. Amani Hooker, who knows that he's got to be on this guy to double cover him as he goes for the out route, kind of gets a late jump, and Nico Collins makes a Nico Collins play because he's just better. And so this team continues to look lifeless in a lot of different spots. The talent is just not there, and I understand there's nothing they can really do about it, but that's the main point there, right? The defense had capitalized on so many of those opportunities the entire day, and when the offense finally shows up for one drive, they can't put it together at the end there. And so I think that's where I stand on this game. It was a very winnable game for this team. Absolutely.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more on the winnable nature of this. JT, the Titans had half of their 10 game possessions where they were trailing with the football with a chance to either retake the lead or tie. The 5th of those possessions was their last possession, where they went 11 plays, 95 yards for a game-tying touchdown. But 4 possessions after losing the lead, they gained 1 first down. They went 3 and out, 6 plays, fumble, and then they went 3 and out, 3 and out, and then they finally put it together. So, like, you're dead on about the missed opportunities, because there were so many chances that all they had to do was get a field goal to take the lead, get a field goal to tie, get a field goal to tie, and then you have to get a touchdown, but you still had so many chances to do that, and they couldn't even muster together 2 first downs during those 4 possessions. So it was very brutal. So they did take a 6-0 lead. And this is where we're going to get to on the Mike McCoy part of the conversation, because yesterday in the postgame show, we were basically discussing 2 big things. Cam Ward's performance, how conflicted was I on that overall, as well as the others and Easton and the whole chat in total. And then the false start situations. We're going to talk about false starts. We're going to hear from J.C. Latham. We're going to hear from Jeffrey Simmons, some locker room conversation that was pretty spicy, it sounds like, as was Mike McCoy's post-game presser. But the Tennessee Titans had the ball with a 3-0 lead. The first time all year I can remember that Cam Ward gets the ball to start the second half with the lead. And they go down there and they add to it. And they kicked a 47-yard field goal. They decided to, at 4th and 2, at the Texans' 28-yard line, the first drive of the third quarter, 4th and 2 at the 28, the Titans decide to kick a 47-yard field goal to make it a 6-0 game. Mike McCoy was asked about that. This is a full back and forth. Titans interim coach Mike McCoy versus members of the Titan media, mainly Paul Kaharski and Teron Davenport. Here is that exchange.
4th and 2 from their 28. What will it take for you in the remainder of the season to be in one of those situations and make the more aggressive decision?
Well, you go, like any situation in the game, you look at certain things. What is the flow of game? What type of game is it going to be? And what you think at the time and situation of the game you're going to do.
Every game this season has been the kind of the game where you need more points than the field goals you guys consistently settle for.
Yeah.
Is there going to come a time where you decide, I'm going to go for touchdowns in this game?
Oh, definitely. There's times we talk about it, as the game's going on as a staff, as you play the game, the flow of the game and everything. You do that all the time.
In this instance, what was it about the flow of the game that made you not go for it on such what seemed like a makeable 4th down opportunity?
Because we said at that point in time, if it was a certain down and distance, what we were going to do, and we kicked the field goal.
But I mean, what's the reason why you decided to, whenever
Because
you did decide not to go for it?
Because with where the ball was, situation of the game, all those things, we said if it's a certain situation, it's a certain down and distance, we're kicking a field goal, and that's what we did.
But what makes you feel like the situation in this game is going to present you with a different outcome later, where 6 points at that stage is going to be enough, where the whole season 6 points at that stage of the game has not been enough?
There's other times during the game also, regardless of where the ball is, where we say if it is a certain down and distance, we're going to go for it. And that's the decisions you make as the game goes on. It's always, and it constantly changes as the flow of the game goes. Where's the ball? Where's the field position? What direction there's so many other things that go into it. And we had talked about it, and that's what we did.
If Amy or Mike or Chad came to you and said, we overall want you to play more aggressively and not make decisions like that, but push, would you?
We talk about all the decisions I make all the time. And we constantly talk about it. We evaluate the game. We talk about the decisions I made. And that's what I did.
And are they satisfied with that conservatism?
I haven't talked about today's game yet, so.
Generally speaking?
So.
Woo, man. That is something right there. That is, I'm sure that had to be infuriating and also exhilarating at the same time to be in that press conference. But we're going to hear Cam Ward's also his thoughts on the decision to kick a field goal at 4th and 2 at the 28-yard line. And we'll break down that Mike McCoy nonsense that he just rambled through here in a second. But first, I want to tell you guys about Barton Drury Insurance Group, customized solutions for all of your insurance needs. BartonDrury.com, that is the website to go to. It is open enrollment season, which means if you're looking for that right level of healthcare coverage, medical coverage, or whatever insurance you have and need, this is the right time to do that. And Barton Drury is looking to help save you money without sacrificing the quality of coverage. And that's what they've been able to do for AtoZSports, as we have our employee benefits through Barton Drury Insurance Group. We have our workers' comp policy as a company through Barton Drury as well, because that is super important. The more employees you hire in different states as a digital company, states have different laws and rules, and I'm not keeping up with that stuff. Barton Drury will, and they do a phenomenal job of doing that for us and the workers' comp to make sure we're compliant with those rules as a company. They can help you out as well, personal, business, or whatever it may be with your family. BartonDrury.com.
Yeah, also shout out our friends over at BTA Sports, BTA Better for Betters. When you download that app with the link in our show description or right there below the title, use the code ATOZSports to get a 14-day free trial when you sign up, and then the annual pass, which is $79.99 for our A to Z Sports viewers. That gets you the rest of the season and also the beginning of next season, along with all of the different features that they continue to add and grandfather you into. I know when I checked out the app this weekend, they now have different lines on player props for both FanDuel and DraftKings, so you can tailor that to your sports book of choice in terms of the major ones, continuing to add more and more players and go more in depth on that. BTA Sports, where insight meets instinct. Check them out at the link in our show description.
All right, so I'm going to try to summarize Mike McCoy's opinion or his answers to the questions, the laundry list of questions asked by Tehran and Paul there. They kicked a field goal because of many situational aspects of the game flow and ball placement and other things is why they kicked it. Why? What made it that? What led them to that? I don't know, because he never answered the question. He never answered the question on why the situations aligned or what situations were that made them make the decision to kick a field goal. He just said a lot of things go into it, and they have conversations. So that's summarizing Mike McCoy. We'll play it again once we ask our question. Here was Cam Ward on this when he was asked about going forward on fourth down versus kicking field goals.
4th and 2 to make a case for going for it, and how eager are you for maybe a little more aggressiveness in some of those situations?
I want to go for it every fourth down. But at the end of the day, that's not my decision. We're able to get points out of there. So, it's good.
I want to go for it. And this is not the first time that Cam Ward has said, I always want to go for it on fourth down. 4th and 2 on the 28-yard line. In a 3-0 game, the Titans kick a 47-yard field goal. It's good to go up 6-0. Now let's get the audience involved here, JT. Let's ask this question here for everybody. Was it the right or wrong decision? This is A versus B, right or wrong decision, which you know what that means. I'll put up a YouTube poll. I appreciate you doing that for me on Friday. I saw that. The YouTube poll when I was off the show. But the right or wrong decision for Mike McCoy to kick a field goal to go up 6-0 versus the Texans, right or wrong? I will go ahead and work on this YouTube poll, but there's a ton of answers already flowing in here, JT. So I'll let you go ahead and get to them.
Yeah. Edward starts us off here, says they got to go for it there. American says he's with Cam. Every fourth down, we should go for it. They're 1-9. It's wrong. It's wrong. Darren says it's the right decision there to kick the field goal. Jason R says it's the right decision there to kick the field goal. Titans Kyle says, once again, you're 1-9. It's the wrong decision. Kendall says the bigger issue here is the third down call there. Curtis says wrong. Caribbean Daniel.
That comment real quick. Keep going.
Daniel says the price is wrong there. Rooney says wrong. Darius says you have nothing to lose. Just go for it. The showstopper says wrong. You have nothing to lose. Ann says wrong. You have nothing to lose and everything to win. Tactical Recon Squad says it was the right decision to take the field goal there. Jordy says wrong. We don't make right decisions. Tall Texan says right. They got points. Would have been crushed if they wouldn't have gotten it. Wing Zero says right call. He's not mad at it. Bork says wrong. Again, by 6 is dumb, and it's a well-established dumb idea. Kendall says wrong, but the more wrong thing was the third down call, as he says again. Wrong. AI Sheed says right. Trust the tank. Andre says wrong decision for a lifeless team. Right decision for a competent team, which I think is a fair point there.
Wait, just to pause you on this, because Cole says nobody watched the Lions last night. I take it. The Lions were 0 for 5 on fourth down last night in Philadelphia.
I mean,
I mean, right? Like, and that's Dan Campbell living and dying by being Dan Campbell. Yes. You know,
we have to live and die by Mike McCoy being Mike McCoy.
Well, Mike McCoward You better get that right, because Mike McCoy continues to do stuff like this. He is being consistently himself, which is a scaredy cat, Mike McCoy. And so, we're in our group chat with me, you, Easton, and Ryan Roberts for our morning show text group, which is full of nonsense most of the time. But Ryan, I don't know how he figured out how to get the Titans game on TV because he lives in Jersey. And that definitely was not in the viewing point. But Ryan was like, why? Ryan could not understand, as not a day-to-day Titans follower and paying attention to this. And my response is, they will never, this team will never pass up an opportunity for Joey Sly to show off his long, hairy leg and how long he can kick it. That is the goal. Like, I don't know if you guys noticed, Joey Sly has got a lot of fur on his extremities, and he can kick it a long way, and the Titans want you to see that. They want you to look how long this field goal is. We can put ourselves in a situation to kick a long field goal. Why pass up on that? And a 47-yard field goal is not that long. So the way I'm looking at it is the third down play is what I think is the bigger issue here. Because in a vacuum, in a 3-0 game where your defense is playing well, has pitched a shutout, to this point, you have the ball to make it they have to score a touchdown to take the lead type of spot. I don't hate the decision to kick a field goal to get points, because I think there is something in momentum that you need to see it go through the hoop. You need to see this offense to put together a drive again and sustain something. The third down play was the biggest problem. So as I'm about to vote on this actual poll, I am clicking the right button. So the poll question was kicking a field goal to go up 6-0 on the fourth and 2 play versus the Texans, the right or the wrong decision. I say the right decision. So before we get to the third down, or if you want to mix the third down in here, because I think there's a back and forth we can continue to have on this. The right or wrong decision, JT, to kick that field goal.
I kind of agree with you that it probably is the right decision. It leads me into a bigger conversation that you look at how this team just continued to not be able to get anything going on the ground there yesterday. And I understand why they believe that they really can't get a yard when they need to or anything like that, which once again is a bigger problem. But yeah, you come out of half with your drive, you get those points. But there is that. It's hard for me to say, because there is that killer mentality that I think Cam Ward has, that a lot of guys on the offense were trying to have, in terms of, you get the ball out of half, you're at their 28. This is the chance to turn this into a huge swing for your team here.
Yeah.
If you're able to convert and continue to drive, something that the Titans continue to not be able to do. And so, yeah, I think but that requires you to have a good run game. That requires you to play complementary football. And yesterday, at that point, Tony Pollard had 6 carries for 13 yards or something like that. It was abysmal performance by the run game. And so I'm not entirely sure that this team believed, or Mike McCoy believed in this offense enough to get those 2 yards on there. I don't know if he believed enough in Cam Ward to get to make a play there on 4th and 2. And that's where the Titans are right now. So is it ultimately maybe the right decision? Probably, but that kind of goes against the mentality of what Cam Ward is and what he's trying to be. And I think that hurts him in the long run.
Right. So, okay. American Top says this is like talking out of both sides of our mouth. I feel the same way. I don't like it, but my core tells me that kicking a field goal and making that field goal to up 6-0 is not the wrong move. But I think there's a bigger picture philosophy situation here that we have to address with what Mike McCoy is doing. And the third down play that's been brought up by a bunch of you guys in the chat and both of us on the show here so far is the topic, because it was 3rd and 3 at the 29-yard line. Tyjae Spears carries for 1 yard up the middle to the 28. That was Tyjae Spears' long run of the day. 1 yard. 4 carries for 3 yards, long of 1. So Tyjae Spears Got nothing there. Not Tajay's fault. That guy was finding hidden yards out of lost yards all day long in the pass game and the run game. They could not block the Texans up front in the run situation. So I think what bothers me the most is what they are stealing from Cam Ward's development. Again, what bothers me the most is what I believe the Titans coaching staff and Mike McCoy in particular is stealing from Cam Ward's development. And I'm going to expand on that here in a moment. But first, I want to tell you guys about Window Nation. WindowNation.com is where to go. JT, guess what? Guess what happens in 8 days from today?
You get your new windows?
New windows, baby. They're coming
There
in
you
on
go.
the 25th. So I will not be on the show on Tuesday the 25th or Wednesday the 22nd, 26th, because we get new windows, guys, from Window Nation. I'm super pumped about this.
Got to throw a party for that.
I'm honestly like, yeah, once it gets cleaned up, Thanksgiving, just in time to have Window Nation windows showing things off. Our windows are going to be so much better than these metal builder grade windows that we've had with this house. We when we bought the house a couple years ago, we said windows are on that long-term project, and Window Nation swooped in earlier this summer and with a great deal of buy two, get two free. Well, now it's buy windows, any window, 50% off all window styles at Window Nation through the end of this month. And you could get up to 5 years, 0% financing. That's crazy. Up to 0% financing for 5 years is on the table for you. There's so many different ways that you can save with Window Nation. We're saving thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Like I'm not exaggerating. With Window Nation, you get top line quality windows. JT, did you know there's silver in good windows? There's like silver. Yeah. Well, we got like triple layer silver in our new windows that are getting installed next week. Couldn't be more pumped about this because they're going to increase the value of our home. They're going to keep the temperature what we want it to be, save us money in the long run as well with this super, super easy to handle finance situation because they're just saving us thousands of dollars on new windows. So check them out online, windownation.com.
Yeah, also shout out once again our friends at BTA Sports. Like I said, use that code AtoZSports when you download the app for a 14-day free trial. Also, you can use our code ATOZ14 if you want to do the weekly pass. That also gets you a 14-day free trial and $9.99 per week. After that, BTA Sports uses their analytically backed insights to help you make smarter bets and beat the books. Once again, BTA Sports is on our side. They're trying to help us beat the books like they have so many times already this season. I know they had a few winning bets for me this weekend as well, which was good. Certainly with the Cleveland Browns. Did not think that was gonna happen, but they do cover barely, which is good. Helped me take that one as well. So BTA Sports, download the app with the link in our description or right below the show title, where insight meets instinct. BTA Sports.
All right, so we're going to get into how Mike McCoy is hurting Cam Ward's development. Real quick, Vanessa says, that's a lot of excitement that I have for Windows. Oh, Vanessa. Like the only thing I dislike about our house are these windows. And they have been in the plans to rip them out and upgrade, and that's happening in 8 days. So yes, I'm super excited about this. Okay, I'm going to play a portion of the Mike McCoy back and forth here because honestly, I need time to send a tweet out because somebody said that Mike McCoy goes hard. I'm not going to pull off the Mike McCoy nickname for Mike McCoy. So here is Mike McCoy talking about the 4th and 2 decision to kick a field goal yesterday.
4th and 2 from their 28. What will it take for you in the remainder of the season to be in one of those situations and make the more aggressive decision?
Well, you go, like any situation in the game, you look at certain things what is the flow of game, what type of game is it going to be, and what you think at the time and situation of the game you're going to do.
Every game this season has been the kind of the game where you need more points than the field goals you guys consistently settle for.
Yeah.
Is there going to come a time where you decide, I'm going to go for touchdowns in this game?
Oh, definitely. There's times we talk about it, as the game's going on as a staff, as you play the game, the flow of the game and everything. You do that all the time.
In this instance, what was it about the flow of the game that made you not go for it on such what seemed like a makeable 4th down opportunity?
Because we said at that point in time, if it was a certain down and distance, what we were going to do, and we kicked the field goal.
But I mean, what's the reason why you decided to, whenever
Because
you did decide not to go for it?
With where the ball was, situation of the game, all those things, we said if it's a certain situation, it's a certain down and distance, we're kicking a field goal, and that's what we did.
But what makes you feel like the situation in this game is going to present you with a different outcome later, where 6 points at that stage is going to be enough, where the whole season, 6 points at that stage of the game has not been enough.
There's other times during the game also, regardless of where the ball is, where we say, if it is a certain down and distance, we're going to go for it. And that's the decisions you make as the game goes on. It's always, and it constantly changes.
So there's Mike McCoy. So, and on one hand, they are going with the flow, but on the other hand, they are also predetermining down and distance in situations. So which is it? You can't predetermine and go with the flow at the same time. Those contradict each other. But this is the problem, JT, and I'm not telling you anything you don't know. This is the problem when you have a lame duck interim coach with nothing to gain. Mike McCoy has nothing to gain here. Mike McCoy was hired to be Brian Callahan's assistant to the head coach type of guy to help out with the head coaching responsibilities after the staff in Jacksonville got fired the year before. Mike McCoy is playing for nothing, and so therefore has not that much vested in Cam Ward's future beyond this year. I don't know if Mike McCoy is going to coach next year in the NFL or if he's going to retire like he kind of previously did a few years ago and spend time with his family. That's fine. I don't dislike Mike McCoy. I'm sure Mike McCoy is a fine human being, but he is a cowardly coach because Mike McCoward, is costing Cam Ward opportunities to develop. It's 3rd and 3 against a divisional opponent at home. You have the lead in the third quarter. You're 1-8. 3rd and 3 at the 29-yard line going in. Do something, call a play to put the defense in conflict to where you can have a first down converted. Okay, you didn't do that. That's fine. All right. So now it's 4th and 2 because you ran the ball. Maybe you can pick up 3 yards if you run the ball with AtoZSports. Maybe. Okay, that's fine. But once you decide to do that, because I can understand that you don't want to get sacked on 3rd and 3. Now the field goal's 57 yards, right? I can understand that too. That's fine. But once you decided to do that on 3rd and 3, and now it's 4th and 2, that tells me if you call that 3rd and 3 play, you're going for it on 4th down. You can't call that on 3rd and 3 and then kick a field goal. You have to go for it on 4th down if you don't get it. It's 4th and 2. Run a play action boot, sneak Gunnar Helm into the flats, and have Cam either drop it over somebody's head or pump fake it and run for 2 yards. Like, this is what Cam Ward needs. He needs these pivotal moments to learn from, and Mike McCoward is kicking field goals when you're 1-8 and now 1-9. It is so frustrating because all this fan base wants is to find out something about their first overall pick quarterback. Find out if this guy is going to be it or not, because right now, guess who is still picking first overall? You're damn right. It's the Tennessee Titans. And right behind them is the New York Football Giants, who have been playing kind of gutsy with their rookie quarterback if he's in concussion protocol. I'm not saying have Cam Ward beat Jackson Dart because that's stupid. But the Tennessee Titans are in a situation to where they got to figure out for this next head coach if Cam Ward's it or not. And how can you figure that out if you don't say, all right, kid, go get a first down. Number 1 scoring defense in the whole NFL, the Houston Texans. See what you got. Cam Ward's confident in himself. He's said it all multiple times. I want to go for it every time. Yet Mike McCoward's kicking field goals before the end of the half against the Patriots. Just ran the clock out with timeouts in his pocket. Mike McCoward. Yesterday, same thing. Mike McCoward just wasted time right before half. So this guy, Mike McCoward, needs to get the heck out of here. There are 7 games left for Cam Ward's rookie year, and Mike McCoy is keeping the Titans from learning more about their first overall quarterback.
Yeah, I think you want to see more moments where Cam Ward can elevate what is a probably it is not just probably the league's worst offense.
Yes.
You want to see him continue to try to elevate that offense. He continues to not have the opportunities to try to do that. And I think that's where we get to the point where this, like you said, this is a cowardly decision. This is the type of behavior that keeps the Cam Ward discussion like from not getting a resolution, because Cam Ward needs to continue to find out if he can be that guy that elevates, if he can be the guy that can save drives. He does it once every 2 games or something like that, like one drive every 2 games, 3 games. You need to have that at least once a game for Cam Ward to know or not if he's the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he continues to not have those opportunities because it seems like this coaching staff, which once again, it's hard for me to see anybody on the offensive side of the ball, really, like the big names, Mike McCoy, Bo Hardigree, Nick Holtz, any of those guys staying around past this year. Those guys, for all intents and purposes, are playing out how we thought it would when you fire the head coach. They are playing through it and trying to get to their next head coaching or their next job, their next coaching job. They're trying to help. There's no service being done to Cam Ward now in terms of the development, because these coaches aren't going to be here past this year. So what's the point there?
Yeah. And again, did Brian Callahan deserve to lose his job? Yes. But this is the problem with firing your head coach so early, is that you'll lose important data points later in the year. And you only get so many, because I think Easton said it last week. Maybe it was with you on the show, that then I can't remember when it was, but next year with a new head coach, the Titans are still going to be a rebuilding football team, right?
Yes.
But for Cam Ward's clock, it's still rolling. It's still rolling. What if the Titans start off 1-4 next year or 1-5 next year, like they did this year with a new head coach? Now it's just rolling faster, because you're losing the back half of this season, because it doesn't matter for the person calling the shots and Mike McCoy. If Brian Callahan deserved to lose his job, he was going to get fired the way this played out. But if he was still the head coach, Brian Callahan still has his reputation on the line to not tank it and to try to get future jobs as a coordinator, whatever it is in the league. And so he is still coaching because he has the vested interest in Cam Ward, because he is attached to Cam Ward. Mike McCoy doesn't care. Mike McCoy is getting checks from the Jaguars from that staff getting fired last year. Until he became the interim, I guess. Then that kind of cancels out. But he doesn't care. Like, again, he was hired as a senior offensive assistant, and now he's the interim head coach. This is not what he was trying to do here. This is not the effort that Mike McCoy wanted to put into this role. It's way more.
And it doesn't seem like he has tried to put that effort in, because if it was, I think you would see a lot different game management. So you're absolutely right. And I think that was on Friday's show last week. We're getting to a point, you're not going to know. You're not going to have enough data points on Cam Ward to know if he's the guy or not by the end of the season. We're 7 games left. Arguably, the beginning of the schedule was hard. This was supposed to be the soft part of your schedule. And you're getting back into what is going to be yet another very difficult part of the schedule. Obviously, things can change, but you have Seattle next week. You have Kansas City. You have the 49ers on the schedule there. You have the Cleveland Browns defense on the schedule. And then Jacksonville, who absolutely shut down Justin Herbert yesterday, whatever that game might be. That's
the hard thing too, is
tough.
because there's and the next 2 weeks are home games.
Yes.
Because there was there was a realistic opportunity yesterday for the Titans to win back some fan equity, right? Like, you were there, you were on a special assignment with Buck, and I'm going to give you a second to tease a little bit of what you guys were doing yesterday during the game and before the game. But the Titans were in the middle of a 4-game homestand for the entire month of November with the bye week in between. And so it was a gorgeous day yesterday. the Titans have not won a game at Nissan Stadium in the regular season in over 12 months, well over 12 months now. You're rolling through that. The Seahawks look like world beaters, even though they got beat yesterday. And they're coming to town next week. And so you have a chance to beat the Texans to earn with a Cam Ward offensive performance. And you're just kind of just throwing the white flag, man. So
Yeah, me and Buck were like I was saying, the fan experience and the fan equity continues to not be great for this team, especially with what we saw yesterday. To tease there, we may have a video. Buck went out and he said this on the pregame radio show on 104.5 The Zone yesterday. He went around interviewing different Titans fans about why they're Titans fans, how long they've been Titans fans, what their best, worst memories are, and why they're still coming. And we got a multitude of answers from the crowd. I will say, a lot of them did buy into the next stadium. So that's a little insight there.
Look,
So
A to Z
fair
is
enough.
bought in
But
on the next stadium too.
So yes, we did a lot of canvassing the fan pulse of what they think about this team. When we asked about the state of the team and what direction they're headed, a lot of people had some negative thoughts, and it all culminated in this one guy that we talked to, which is unfortunately kind of where the Nashville fan base is headed in terms of the people coming to the games. It was a guy who said he slept in the parking lot of a random building last night, didn't know where he was last night, didn't know how his friends got him to the game, but now he was drinking and kind of got his memory back. So that's what was going on in the 300 level yesterday. So it was a good
Shout out
time.
Broadway.
Yeah, so it'll be very exciting when I piece that all together, because I think there is some good insight into some of the people. We talked to somebody who said that they moved from Hawaii for the Titans, moved to Nashville from Hawaii of all places because they love the Titans. So
Really
crazy, but
that is wild. Malachi says McCoy should have no care. He's playing with house money. His mindset should be screw it. Let's go for it. Yeah, that's most interim coaches' mindsets. Matt Moy says, I'm not mad about Matt, what's up, man? I feel like it's been a while since I've seen your comment. OG A to Z here right now. I'm not mad about the field goal, but at what point do you show Cam Ward you have the faith in him to make a play? He's not building confidence by trotting him off the field in those situations. Totally agree there. Garrett says it's not a terrible decision to get the field goal, but man, with the little opportunity we have to get real scores and put our stamp on that game, and you play scared with nothing to lose. I mean, you guys are all over it with this. So again, like in a vacuum, kicking the field goal, in my opinion, is the right decision because of the game situation. And like Mike McCoy, I get the process here in this one game, 3-0, but it's a consistent problem that Mike McCoy is constantly trying to protect, or what's the word? Shelter Cam Ward from growing moments. Does that seem fair? Is Mike McCoy sheltering Cam Ward from some growing moments?
I think so. I think he's continuing to not allow us to see what Cam Ward can truly be. I think the only reason you got to see what Cam Ward could be yesterday is because he took it upon himself in that last drive to make something out of nothing, which is not to say it's all on Mike McCoy. Could Cam Ward be doing that a lot more earlier and often? And can that be part of the game plan, that when the pocket does bail like that, you need to be looking to get ahead of the line of scrimmage instead of looking for that big play downfield? Yes, that needs to be better coached into him. But also, I think there is a lot to be desired with Cam in seeing what he can do. And I understand that there's a huge argument to be made that losing Chim DK, Calvin Ridley, and Alec Manor yesterday did him no favors. And it certainly did not. But we see it all the time, how quarterbacks are expected to elevate what is rather poor wide receiver cores and weapons around them. And we haven't seen that yet from him. And I think Mike McCoy is leaving a lot of those opportunities on the table for him to continue to elevate the talent around him. We certainly saw it yesterday when he finally hits Chig down the sideline, who arguably was probably the perfect the perfect play there, the guy that you were really only going to trust on this offense. You need to see more of that.
Yeah, and again, like I just think, how many times do we watch football games throughout the week and see a short yardage situation on 3rd or 4th down, and a play is called for a quarterback who's not a running quarterback or a full mobile quarterback, but a quarterback that is able to get a little bit on the edge, and you play a monkey in the middle type of game with a defender. How many times do we see that? And normally the offense wins because it's a 2-on-1 game. You're putting a defender in a really tough spot. And so why can't the Titans do that? Like, I feel like the last 2.5, 3 years, I've watched the Titans defense give up routine plays to the opposing offense, yet the Titans offense struggles to consistently put together routine plays. I'm like, there's like, it's gotta be way easier. Like, why are they making it so much harder? And so I think, like, there's plays that we see it all the time, right? Like, we see this nonstop in football. Like, you know what it looks like. It's a play action. It's in the shotgun. If you want to have his eyes on the field, shotgun where you've got a tight end leaking on the line of scrimmage, and maybe another guy about 6-7 yards behind him to layer it. And like, they can't get it done. Cam Ward has the running ability to convert that, but they are just unwilling to throw him out there for it. I don't get it.
Yeah. I mean, not to segue into it too early, but Cam Ward and the coaching staff putting him in these types of situations is certainly a piece of it. The other piece is how the Titans can't complement their own side of the ball in terms of what they do with the offensive line and the penalties we saw yesterday, specifically from J.C. Latham, how there seems to be a clashing of, I know Easton texted in our group yesterday that he believed that the post-game locker room would be pretty spicy comments from the defensive side of the ball, and they did not disappoint. There seems to be a growing clash of the Titans have infighting, they have tension and discord in themselves because one side of the ball continues to do their job, the other side doesn't. Then that side of the ball does what they need to do, and then that the defensive side of the ball doesn't. And that growing tension is something we saw on display yesterday from both J.C. Latham and Jeffrey Simmons. So
yeah, and we'll get that in a second. Titans Cal says, "Don't worry, Austin. They're thinking about doing it." Because Mike McCoy now has said, we thought about it. We did it in practice. What was that? A couple of games ago, where McCoy says the quarterback sneak situation, right? Like, yeah, we practice it. Like, I don't care about practice. Like, I don't care what you do in practice if you're not going to do it in the game. Yet they continue to think about doing things instead of actually doing things. All right, so let's get into this. Jeffrey Simmons and J.C. Latham. J.C. Latham, man, this is going to be a tough video to watch here with the Titans right tackle, second-year player with 3 false starts on the game yesterday. But first, JT, tell us all about Botero Carts.
Yeah, Botero Carts, life is short. Buy a golf cart, and when you do, you got to do it with our friends over at Botero Carts. A lot of different things that make buying your new shiny golf cart easy with our friends at Botero Carts, including 0% financing for 36 months with carts starting at just $6,700. They're open 7 days a week with a full service sale and rental dealership that is locally owned and operated here in the Middle Tennessee area. 2 locations, Gallatin and their new location in Columbia, to serve you. They also have no dealer fee, no credit card fee, no hidden fees when you buy your shiny new golf cart. And it is shiny and new because they're all stored indoors, out of the weather for your satisfaction and convenience. No credit option needed as well if you want to take that route as well. But when you realize that life is short and you need to buy a golf cart, do it with our friends over at Botero Carts.
BTA Sports are on a roll. They've now hit the Titans to cover spreads twice in a row, plus 9.5 against the Chargers, plus 5.5 against the Texans yesterday. You can download the BTA Sports app. The link is in the Facebook title and the YouTube description. There's 2 codes for you. If you want to do a 12-month subscription, that is the better of the 2 values, both good values. Then you use code ATOZSports, 14-day free trial, $79 12-month subscription. If you want a weekly subscription, because you don't want to go all the way in the pool, that's fine. You still get a 14-day free trial with code ATOZ14, and then it's a $9.99 weekly subscription right there for BTA Sports Better for sports bettors. Again, helping us win against the Titans plus the points on that. So let's hear from JC Latham. Ashid says JC is broken. Let's hear from the Titans right tackle who had 3 false starts in yesterday's game. Here he is in the locker room.
Little things you got to do. Simple as quick. Nothing to it. You got to go. It's penalty. You can't get penalties.
Is there something different? You say mental, but this
Yeah, nothing different. Just penalties. Can't get a penalty.
what was behind the mental?
Ain't nothing. We caught the cadence. We want to mix up the cadence to change it to this easier. I executed that for you on 3 occasions.
So
I
yeah.
mean,
Rough.
were you in? He wasn't trying to make excuses. Like it's one of those things where he kept getting asked in different ways about it, and he was like, I don't want to make an excuse. Right? He tried so hard to not make an excuse, and I think he did a good job of that. Like he just can't do it. And Edwards says, was he about to smile? No, I think he was messing with his retainer or something. It looked like, or like an Invisalign type of thing that he was like playing with with his mouth. But I mean, do you feel bad for JC Latham?
I do. I don't think people want to hear that, but I do
No.
because you look at what he did yesterday in terms of pass protection. It was very good. Like JC Latham was not getting beat off the edge a lot yesterday. It was, as Ant says, Buck said he had just taken out his grills. That is what he was doing with his mouth there. So, it's just the penalties. That's really the only thing there, because I think at the end of the day, Latham, and that was a bright spot. Latham looked good out there yesterday against some of the toughest competition, against what is ranked the number 1 defense right now in the league.
Once the ball was snapped, he did he played a good game.
Yeah, the important part of that is that it was when it was snapped, and that gets into yet another topic of conversation, which don't believe anybody got this on video, but Jeff Simmons in the locker room did say that this was a problem in practice this week in terms of false starts. They had 4 false starts on this game, or I guess in practice, I should say, on Friday's practice, 4 in a practice. And Cam Ward also talked about in his post-game press conference about how one of those false starts for JC was on him because he messed up the cadence. The big point here is that the Titans somewhere this week said in terms of coaching, in terms of how they wanted to execute in this game, said, against the Texans this week, what we need to do is change up our cadence, or we need to try something different to get the upper edge. And it blew up in their face because JC had problems with it. Cam Ward had problems with it. Certainly seems like it was an issue all week in practice. And I understand JC is a professional athlete in the NFL now. Like those things can't happen, but it certainly is not the whole test. It's not the whole tale of JC Latham yesterday, because I think once again, he played a pretty good game once the ball was snapped.
Yeah, he had a holding penalty. So that adds, he had 4 penalties for 25 yards on the day. And the false starts came, no false start comes at a good time, but the false starts came at a rough time. And they had 5 of them as a team. So let's go ahead and ask this question. Because I think it's a good one, because I'm trying to bite my tongue and not give too many of my answers to the question, but what concerns you most about the Titans' false start issues? What concerns you most about the Titans' false start issues? Because I think should we hear from Jeff first as these answers roll in, or should we wait on Jeff, JT?
We can hear from Jeff, I think. It's important because you see that in the answer, you'll see that kind of tension that is building between the defensive side and the offensive side of the ball.
All right, so what concerns you most about the Titans' false starts, and then we'll get to your answers after we hear from Jeff or Simmons.
All right. That game was tough as hell. Sudden changes, 3 and outs. We got to play complementary football. It's not good enough. I had too many self-inflicted things today, like all around. Say what we want, but 3 and out. We got to be better. I'm tired of sugarcoating it. We need to be better, especially at home. Can't have that many false starts. We need to be better. We can't keep sitting up here saying the same thing, trying to sugarcoat it for the media, for anybody. And I said it in the locker room, I said it on the field. I'm tired of sugarcoating. We need to be better. At the end of the day, we need to protect Cam better. Simple.
Man, he was pissed.
Yes. It was very eye-opening because it started off like a normal Jeff post-game loss. It's kind of routine at this point, going back to even last year. Terms of frustrating, we can't keep losing like this. And then kind of divulged into that moment where Jeff was just like, you know what, F it. Like, this is how I feel. No more sugarcoating it. And he did. He said the defense continues to get 3 and out. And the Titans continue to not play complementary football by the amount of penalties. And that's where he continued to go on for another 2 or 3 minutes or so with different questions, and then gets to the side note that this was something that came up in practice, which I think is a huge concern and a big red flag. And so I understand where Jeff is coming from. I think the frustration is valid. I don't think it means that there is going to be a breaking or a divide in the locker room, because I think this team right now, and you heard it from Cam, this team knows that they have to be better. This is what they continue to talk about every week. We have to beat the Titans first before we can beat anybody else, said Gunnar Helm 2.5-3 weeks ago, somewhere around there. This Titans team knows what they need to do to actually play winning football, and they can't, because whether it's the talent level or getting back to that, the coaching is just not all 100% into it. It's tough right now. Yeah. And that's where the frustration grows from.
All right. So what concerns you most about the Titans' false start problems? Do you have an answer?
That it happened in practice, that it frustrates me that this is a growing issue, and once again, right, the Mike McCoy comes in and says practice is amazing, and they're getting creamed on Sundays, even though he says practice is awesome. And then practice this week apparently was not awesome, and they play somehow better, I guess, this week, the inverse. But those types of things not getting fixed in practice, especially when you're at home with your supposed to be home crowd with you. And I understand the cadence is not because it's trying to be silent because you can't hear anything. It more so was most likely to try to get an upper edge on the tough front four of the Houston Texans defense, but still not being able to get that worked out in practice, and it coming specifically on Friday's practice, I think is malpractice by the head coaching and the coaching staff.
Yeah, Sharman says the fact that it's still happening in practice and they can't get it fixed. Curtis says all for one guy. Well, one was on Lloyd Cushenberry that I think was kind of if you go back and watch, I think it was offsides on defense. And Cushenberry flinched because the Texans jumped. Then you had one from Gunnar Helm / the trips of receivers on the side that jumped all at the same time. Kind of a deal. If you're having problems in practice, then why run it in the game, right? And I think here's my problem. This team is lesser than on the field than their opponents. Shocker, right? Like, so they're a bad team compared to their opponents. Obvious. They have to be able to do things well enough to overcome that or to not shoot themselves in the foot. I think they're trying to do too much. There's too many moving parts. There's too much going on pre-snap. They've got so many motions, so many checks before the snap. They're changing up the cadence in practice before a game. And all it's doing is creating more issues. This team has struggled the entire year on illegal formation, illegal motion, false starts, delay a game. Why? Because every play almost that they're not in the hurry up, the play clock is coming down to 4, 3, 2, 1. And Cam's like moving guys around and just line up and snap the damn ball a couple times. Like, JC's in his stance for 15 seconds trying to hear Cam check all this stuff, motion here, motion there, kill, can, all this stuff. We're good. And then all of a sudden he's like ready to go because the play clock's going. And it's just like, keep it simple, guys. Like, just snap the ball. And maybe, just maybe, you don't have as many false starts. And I'm not, Jeff says blame Cam. No, I'm not blaming Cam. Cam is a part of it. It's the entire pre-snap process is a freaking mess.
Yes, I think so. And it comes down to, I think, the earlier part of our show. The coaching staff continues to feel like it's over. And I think it's going to continue to be a disservice to Cam. For sure.
Yeah. All right, we got a couple super chats here on the show, but JT, first tell everybody about the Bone and Joint Institute.
Yeah, the Bone and Joint Institute, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedics and sports medicine. Don't fumble your recovery, like the graphic there says. Whenever you get hurt in life, you have to know who to trust, and that's why we trust here at AtoZSports the Bone and Joint Institute, which is located in Franklin, right off of I-65. They have over a dozen specialists who can help you through any type of injury, with their state-of-the-art rehab facility on campus to help your recovery. The Bone and Joint can do everything under one roof for your convenience, which is their clinic, their testing, their imaging, surgery, and rehab. To schedule your appointment when you need to not fumble your recovery, go to boneandjointtn.org.
Wilson County Hyundai, make them a part of your new car buying process. Go see them in Lebanon or online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. You can save some money on that new ride with our friends in Pain Bone at Wilson County Hyundai. Some super chats to go out of the show. Kendall says, anyone hoping on my call Rex for interim hopping? Okay. Anyone hopping on my call Rex for interim train yet? Rex Ryan.
Listen,
was in the viewing area yesterday and would probably jump out of the sauna to come interim coach the Titans for the last 8 games.
Listen, the Titans did one thing right yesterday. They are no longer on a streak where they potentially could be worse than the Dayton Triangles of the 1920s, which is huge.
That's right. Because they scored the same amount of touchdowns.
Yes, they didn't score more touchdowns, but they scored the same, which is not less than their opponent. So
there's not like a less than or equal on that.
No, I believe it's just less, which huge
Big
day
deal
for the Tennessee Titans, not being as bad as the Dayton Triangles of 1927. But I do think, hey, you know what? At this point, I'm all for it. We saw the first step of my master chaos plan yesterday happen in terms of Dylan Gabriel getting hurt. So are we headed towards that doomsday scenario of Shedeur versus Cam week 14? I don't know. We'll see. But hey, let's just spice it up even more. If you buy me that ticket, I'll hop on with you. Who cares?
Rex Ryan for
Rex Ryan would probably instantly come in and care 10 times more than Mike McCoy.
Yes. Now, I don't think it would be
It wouldn't do anything.
circus.
Yes.
Yeah. So funny, but no. Andre Super Chat says, Callie, Holtz, Hardigree, McCoy, the four horsemen of the apocalypse of coaching. Worst group of coaches I've seen. The front office not recognizing that scares me. So
it's an interesting conversation to have, because here's the thing.
which front office?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, maybe it's the right decision to fire Brian Callahan. We're over that. We have to continue to say that.
But not the timing of it, right?
But not the timing of it. It's also fair to question the front office giving the different delegations to the different people. Like,
But also, here's the hard part about Andre's comment. The front office not recognizing that scares him. Okay, so Mike Borgonzi and Chad Brinker were in completely different roles. Borgonzi wasn't here. Brinker was not in charge when Callahan, Holtz, and Hardigree joined the organization. That was Rand Carthon as the general manager running that show. We questioned here on A to Z, this is pre-Easton and pre-JT times, but we questioned Nick Holtz as that offensive coordinator hire and Denard Wilson being a first-time D coordinator with a first-time head coach. That was a conversation that was had all over the place in this market. The Mike McCoy thing is he was hired and brought in to be such a low-level assistant that I also think we've discussed a lot that the timing of the firing of Callahan was not the front office's decision or move. That was the trigger pulled by the owner, Amy Adams Strunk, from her perch in Houston. And so whose decision was it to give the interim job to McCoy? I don't know if we know that, but I don't think you can judge Chad Brinker and Mike Borgonzi like Andre is trying to judge those two.
yes,
I don't know.
I don't think so either. I think it's going to be. Yeah, I don't think it's entirely fair to say that it's the worst coaching staff of all time, because certainly Mike Borgonzi, to take this job, had to have signed on to the Brian Callahan experience, right? Like, I don't know. Like, Mike Borgonzi, certainly we have this discussion all the time. We're having it with Robert Saleh and some of these second-time head coaches. Like, there's only one of 32 jobs. And as a guy who was working with Kansas City and having some success, certainly you think this wasn't the only job he was interviewing for. And you have to think that he had at least some interest and some confidence in that coaching staff to take this job. So that's where
Charles, are these guys really still defending the coaching staff? We're not defending the coaching staff. I think we're just saying it's not fair to judge Chad Brinker and Mike Borgonzi's unit as a front office and their judgment. It's not fair to judge them for how they view this coaching staff because they did not put the coaching staff into place. Right? Like, that's all we're saying. And that, here's the problem. It's too complicated. It's too complicated because it's been changing every year. Big positions have changed every year. There's no continuity. And so it's too complicated.
Yeah.
And I think they're trying to make it less complicated, but the owner continues to complicate things by jumping into it.
Absolutely. So, and hopefully that doesn't happen this time. Like we continue.
We'll see. We'll see. All right.
But 7 games left.
Yes.
7 games left.
7? Yes, 7. They're 1-9. That's right. All right, guys, that'll be it for us on this Monday. Make sure you hit that like button if you haven't yet. Please like the show. That goes a long way for us. Follow us on Google as well. And we will see you guys tomorrow on a Tuesday. Buck Rising is live tonight for prime time again, right before Monday Night Football. So make sure you check out his reaction to Mike McCoy's press conference. I have a topic cooking up with Easton for tomorrow morning that I'm excited about. So make sure you hit that like button. We'll see you tomorrow. Appreciate it. Thanks.